Planning, mapping the way. How do we do it? As it says in the study design, a key element is planning. These students were able to plan and synthesize what they knew. So you know a lot, believe it or not. What you want to make sure is that your planning backs that up. So of course, you've got reading time, and a big part of that would be selecting your question and starting to plan it out in your head. How might your Section C essay look? And then of course you're reading your AC text and doing your short answer, or beginning to look at your short answer there as well. So you'll have to think especially about in the exam, how you're breaking up your planning time. But this is focused on the Section C essay just now. All right, here are my steps. Break down the question. So which type of question is it? Opinionative or expository? Paraphrase it into your own words. Consult the stimulus material to guide your topics. Remembering, you're aiming for 1 or 2 at least. So you should probably have a paragraph linked to one element of the stimulus and kind of use that as a guide. Note, a list of possible topics, select the ones you are most prepared for and have examples for. And also obviously check back to step 3, which is the stimulus. So you don't want to just say like, oh, here are my really good paragraphs and ignore the stimulus and make it fit with the question. It makes it a lot harder and shows that the stimulus is there to partly to help you and partly to trip you up, to show that you're not just reproducing old essays. So here's a question, an example. Australian English is the language of Australian linguistic diversity, is part of the Australian identity. So that's the question. You could do Aboriginal English, you could do accent, phonology, whole language, woke language, sorry, that says, reading my own writing is a little bit hard. Globalization, lingua franca, you can talk about coronavirus, ethnolex, you could pick some, Americanisms, LGBTQI plus type stuff, colonization, multiculturalism, and teen speak. I would obviously rank teen speak near the bottom because it doesn't directly relate to linguistic diversity. It's a stretch. Accent is an ideal example, as are many of the others, but it's up to you to think about which of those best answers the question. Obviously, I don't have the stimulus here to help you, to guide you, but your job would be to rank which one you think would score best, and also rank which one you have best prepared, which is 2 different processes. So you want to be sort of assessing as you read, okay, how do my skill set and my knowledge base play into the question I've been given? All right, the structure, not really much to say. It's not inspiring. It's an essay. You have an introduction, you have a conclusion, you have 3 body paragraphs or maybe more. That's pretty much it. Kind of similar to, if you think about the analytical commentary, the structure, the 3 register social purpose context type structure is partly limiting, and it kind of forces you to do a bit of sort of corralling of ideas and sort of breaking them up into things that make sense. So for this reason, a Section C essay, you can have as many paragraphs as you want. Like, maybe you've got a paragraph that's not fully developed that you've prepared. You could slot that in alongside 3 other ones that you've drawn directly from the stimulus, those sort of things. Just be flexible around the number of paragraphs. An introduction and conclusion, you just want to introduce and conclude. Nothing really more complicated than that. So stimulus is stepping stones, kind of, I'm imagining it as like sort of rocks in a river, and your ideas are sort of flowing around it. And you could maybe even, if you want to really show off, get the stimulus and add some meta language to it to sort of explain, the example of the stimulus. That shows a real great deal of flexibility, and is something that I believe will be viewed favorably by examiners. All right, so obviously you're tailoring. So we're going to read a bit, 2 different chunks, 2020 and 2021. So the whole topic, focusing on keywords. That's why we just went through the previous steps. You've got to make sure you're pulling out all the ideas that are possible in there. Pre-prepared doesn't score well. Careful reading of the stimuli can be very helpful in building your responses to relevant ideas. So you're tailoring it. You don't just have your options that you've got pre-planned. And the good thing is you can have, I guess, your evidence is pre-planned. Your linguistics is pre-planned. The theories you want to talk about, pre-planned. So all you really need to tailor is sort of top and tail, the beginning of the paragraph, the end of the paragraph, and in between your big example chunks. So you're kind of just fluidly trying to weave, tailor, thread, metaphor's working, these ideas with the stimulus that you're given and the question that you've got. So it could only be 5 or 6 sentences that you directly have to tailor, and the rest of it might be basically examples linguistics quotes, theories, all that stuff that you already know needs to go in there. So the tailoring should be pretty possible. The more practice you do, obviously the easier it will be to tailor your expression.